First up, modifications and changes. One being the town band. We will put them at between 3 and 4. We can get on out of here.
3.5 it is.
Anything else?
Yes. We can strike number 4, the business leadership class, because they've, I guess, struck a deal with the food shelf and they're just gonna be doing everything in the food shelf parking lot lawn or whatever. So they don't need their park permit.
Number 8.
Number 5, that's not really something we're gonna approve or disapprove. It's a resolution, so I'll have you sign the resolution. I can still talk to it when we get to it. It's now a resolution. Because I was talking to Greta today from NRPC. Number 8, well, you can strike that. They came up with a different plan, so they're not gonna be doing that. And then I gotta add in there, the bid estimates are in, so we can talk and approve those. We end up getting 2 bid estimates for to take down at 24 Main Street.
Oh, for the demo?
Yeah.
Okay, let's replace 8 with those bid estimates. What would we say it was, 28 maybe?
24 Main.
24 maybe?
Other than that, that's it.
Okay. Public comment. Is there anybody from the public?
Somebody just walked in.
Might be the public.
Every one of them.
The whole public.
Yes, the whole public. Yeah.
There? Alright. We're on public comment. Are you here from the public? And do you wish to comment?
I don't know, he has to find a place for his glasses first.
Hang tight for a minute.
Just trying to remember what he had to say.
He's calling himself to see what it was.
In a sense, going through just to bring you guys up to speed, based on the select board and the sheriff's contract and our meetings and everything like that. Just have you guys, if you get an opportunity, go to, for the record, a gentleman by the name of Richard, and I'm gonna pronounce this all wrong. Copperwaite,
Copperthwaite.
okay,
Reporter.
reporter.
Yes, Copperthwaite.
Just take a look at the interview that was conducted.
On the
and,
public television station,
Correct,
Channel 15.
correct. And
I'm sorry, public
we're
record
hold-
is,
we're hold-
For the
We
record.
are holding
that's the name of the show.
steadfast to what we kind of agreed upon. But just
Watch that.
We need to watch the movie, eh?
watch the movie, come to your own conclusions and
Do you have the date of that interview?
May 8th,
Yeah, thank you. Make it easier to find.
so.
And is it now on YouTube as well?
Who was the interviewer?
That would be our current sheriff.
Okay, that's what I thought, I just was
Yeah.
verifying.
So, I don't know if it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Must be.
That's better.
It usually is.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Nice.
We will go to the movies. Drink popcorn.
Any other public comment? Hearing none, I'll move on to review and approval for the minutes of May 14th, 2024, our trustees meeting. The
They were
minutes,
fine.
Sandy says the minutes look good. If anybody else. or-
Disagrees? How dare 'em.
If everyone agrees, I'll hear a motion to accept.
Move.
Eli had the first, Heather with the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. All right, motion carries. Okay, up next, town band follow with Bandstand Committee.
I am here to express interest in joining the committee. And Susie also, I think, falls under that. I don't know if you guys got any other letters. The band was
I-
notified that if they couldn't be here tonight, they needed to submit a letter if they were expressing interest.
The band?
Yes.
So would you be representing the band?
Yes,
And then Susie, EBCA?
Yes, sure.
I think, and just as a community member to look at the vision
Yeah.
of the park.
And we reached out to the Lions and
Okay.
did we? That was a question.
I told them about it,
Nice.
Okay.
and I told them, somebody's gonna represent the Lions Club here tonight. And nobody showed up.
You're here.
I'm here, he's here.
Any volunteers for a committee seat for the bandstand? We want to do some upgrades to it.
I don't know, it all depends on what the proposal is on that, and we're gonna change the whole thing,
If what?
if we're gonna change the whole thing.
It's up to the committee. The committee is gonna make a recommendation to the board and we're gonna go from there.
I'll talk to you after.
Okay.
So I'll pencil you in.
Someone.
Years ago.
And there was a question of, do you have to be a resident of the village of Venusburg to be on the committee? Which Susie, I don't think is either, but,
No, she's a resident of the town.
so, because there
We're
was,
on this together.
there are band members who have interest, obviously, who are not Venusburg residents, and so.
I mean, if the end result is the betterment of the park and the bandstand, I think that's really all that matters.
And ultimately, the taxpayer dollar oversight is in our hands, so
Yes.
it's not like.
Yeah.
It's not like you can spend $1 million and we'll say yes.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Okay, I'll tell him that.
You gonna lead this?
Basically,
Yes.
I mean, I don't watch grants. Grants is not my area of expertise whatsoever. So I would need like a lot of assistance on that.
But
Susie's
grand
done a lot of
idea
that for the
and
Opera
kind
House.
of design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing would be just like the time, because I just can't be here on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, for sure,
Other than that, I don't know.
for sure.
We know the interest is there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so shall we make a 5-seat committee, making Ellen the chair, and they will report to us with design ideas for bandstand upgrades?
Sounds fair to me.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Do we even need a motion for that?
I'm guessing Brad would be interested, right? Or not Brad.
I know, I tried,
Brian.
but I didn't get a letter.
Okay.
I will ask.
Now that
him.
you're in charge, you can say
Yes,
yes.
You can
exactly.
see
Now
See, 2
that
seats to a point, at least 2
Is
seats.
he a village resident?
I don't think, I don't know where Brian lives.
Fine.
Miles Simon's farm?
He's a town.
Nah, I'd be
Town,
fine.
okay. Okay,
Yeah, it's
I
past
will,
Susie.
Right.
he's been working nights, but I will pass that on. Okay, do you have my email? Yeah, you
Yes,
have
I
my
do.
email. Okay, cool. Yes? Does anyone need more from me?
Let me know what you need for help with tracking down grants and stuff. If you give me an idea, I can help search.
Okay, cool. For the summer, Mondays are my best day, so I could do daytime on Mondays.
Okay.
That
Perfect.
seems reasonable, other than evening.
Okay.
Well, and that might work if Brian says yes and he's working nights and Susie
Exactly.
can do it, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Awesome.
Good with me?
Thanks, Alan.
Amazing.
Thank you, Ellen.
No worries.
Thank you.
Touch
Play your
later.
drums.
All right, authorization to renew the village designation of the state. I guess we're gonna sign
See
the,
ya.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, so your phone's there.
sign the renewal.
If that's all he leaves behind, he's doing well.
It's probably on and recording.
So yeah, well, first, I guess Swanton's going through something similar, and Greta's sitting in on their process. And the gentleman from the state mentioned that actually we don't need an approved agenda item. It's gonna be a resolution, and we need to sign off on the resolution. This is for the whole village designation. And then we had that whole kerfuffle with the map being wrong. So we had to change the map. That's been through, had to go through the planning commission. So the village has to sign off on it, and then the select board has to sign off on it. And then in theory, it'll be done. And we can finally move on and get it to the state. Again, Greta's just trying to, I guess the gentleman's fairly new, and he's learning. So she just wants to make sure we got I's crossed and T's dotted.
What did we change with the map?
Yeah, you remember how we didn't change anything, so, and we have the dates wrong, but like 2012, this became a designated area. 2016, they went back and they added the Spavincure. And then when they went back to add the Spavincure, the map was actually wrong. So it was correct that it was supposed to be in there, but the map was incorrect. And even though it was just simply a map change, it was a change to the designation. So they had to go through this whole process. They wouldn't just sign off and saying, yes, we're just changing the map. So we've been working with, it's basically been through the planning and the select board has had the ones that have to sign off on it.
Zoning issue or
We had to have warn it for so many days, all that stuff, because it was seen as a change. So now we're through all of that. Now we just have you folks sign the resolution, the select board signs the resolution, and my understanding is there may be one more step. The easiest way, sorry Sam, easiest way might be to just have, because we don't have a joint meeting plan right now, so I might have you swing in, because I think we have to do one more step with you, the chair, and Dean, to sign off. So I gotta talk to Greta tomorrow and follow up with her, and then, because she's finding out something else, so I'm hoping on the 3rd, when they have a meeting afterwards, we warn that and add it, and then I think you and Dean sign off on it.
Yeah,
So
I can probably make
she had a little bit more research on that part. Again, she's just making sure it's thorough so that we don't get kicked back.
Okay.
So we get to sign that when the night's over.
You want to just sign and move back under executive? Okay. Any other questions on that? No. Moving on to 366 Main, request for 4 additional water and wastewater allocations for the 4 new units.
I know Gary and Ryan have signed off. I mean, there's a letter in here with their information, but
There he is.
Just heard my name, am I late?
no.
Just in time. So was that the Pearly blog?
Yep.
Yes,
So they put in 4 new,
they're planning on
Or new
putting
apartments.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do for parking?
I don't know.
It's a disaster now.
you must have been in the
I was just thinking about that. I think they've been through all that portion of it months ago, like quite a while ago.
This was the plan, I know, from the beginning,
Yeah.
with the original construction, was this was gonna be like the next phase of adding.
So are these the only
This is
4
way out in the back.
units?
Yeah. From what I understand,
I think
yeah.
that's all they've
They
got.
haven't
Yeah,
brought
this is-
anything else forward.
This is it.
Yeah, this is the one that they were trying to get the grant for a while ago, right?
I think so.
Could be.
Yeah, and they didn't get it.
And isn't
That
it,
DRB meeting was a long time ago.
isn't it going down to 1 space per unit from 1.5?
I think that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Because every time he brings something to the board, it's always parking.
And I'm not saying that, I'm saying overall, that's the,
Looks like they have 10 one-bedroom apartments, and 2 two-bedroom. Is that what that is?
That's what that looks like.
So they're
Such
adding,
as they are.
are they adding 4 one-bedrooms or 2?
I think they were one, I think they were one
I worked
bedrooms.
on this one.
I believe it was
the
4 one
four
bedrooms.
1-bedroom, yes.
Say they talked
Yeah,
about
what
it
is
in
it?
October or something last year. It was a long time ago.
I remember, well, Tim zoomed
Right.
in for a meeting on that, didn't he?
Yeah, and it was like late last year maybe.
Yeah.
Who's the commercial?
And it went through DRB already. Hello,
I don't know if you have enough seats.
yes, we do.
I think we're coming up on your agenda a little later, right?
Sure.
We have plenty of seats.
Okay.
There's always room for more.
I wonder if that's the, shape place. Sorry.
That's here.
No, but like, that's.
No.
I don't know.
So Sam, I don't remember looking at the configuration, because basically we account an apartment as one allocation,
Okay.
sort of regardless of the number of bedrooms.
Okay, all right. Well, we have the capacity.
I always forget to do
Gary
it.
says it's okay.
I always forget
Brian says we're
to
good,
do.
we're good.
Yeah.
when we do these.
Motion to accept 366 Main Street's request for
2
additional
years
water
of
and
prior to
wastewater
construction
allocation.
has to
Yes.
be paid.
Will we accept?
Second.
Sandy with
They
the
have to add
first.
that in there. Remember, you have to add in 2 years or,
Prior, they needs to be paid 2 years
Right,
of prior
right,
to
right,
right.
To
connection.
be paid in full within 2 years or prior to connection. So I had Sandy with the first, Leonard with the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Up next, Quincy Hotel sewer line variance.
Just as good.
I suspect this to be Brian again.
Right on with the agenda today.
What's going on?
So, our zoning or our sewer ordinance typically doesn't allow for multiple buildings connected to one sewer line. And I'm not usually a big advocate for people wanting a variance for things. There's usually a good reason for that. And I believe that was put in place basically to protect both parties. If there's an issue, it's really hard to determine who's caused it, who's gonna pay for it, things like that. Excuse me. In this scenario, I can support a variance in the respect that in order for them to tie into the main, they're gonna basically have to go 3/4 of the way across the road. And it's very deep, so it's gonna be a huge hole. And it's just gonna be a big inconvenience to the community in that area. The other small accommodation is the fact that most sewer services are 4-inch. The Quincy actually happens to have a 6-inch service, which we have some main lines that are 6-inch. And it just allows for a lot less likeliness that something's going to occur. But that's just sort of my position. I don't like variances. I hate that they set a precedence for future stuff. But I could be on board with this design. And it's not much of a stretch of shared sewer.
can you explain it? Just so they're aware. Can you explain the design?
Sure, so it's gonna come out, I don't know if you're familiar with the layout, the Quincy Hotel itself, and then if you're looking at it, beyond that to the left is gonna be the apartments. Excuse me. What they're looking to do is run gravity basically across the driveway, down the side of the Quincy, beyond the grease trap, and then tie into the existing 6-inch line just beyond the curb. It would be shared, it's hard for me to tell because the scale isn't right, I guess they would share probably 20 to 30 feet of sewer.
Basically the sidewalk and the road.
It's just above that, but.
So if there was any problems with that shared section, would it come up through the grease trap before anything else?
Hard for me to say because I don't know the complete elevations there. It might actually work up both lines, depending on, it's just gonna path of least resistance.
Right.
That would be the only concern, is in that stretch, if something were to happen, it'd be hard to determine whose fault it was. At this point, it's joint ownership of both structures. Not to say that may or may not change in the future, we don't really know that, but.
Do both those structures have the same owner?
Yes.
Yeah.
I-
So that wouldn't be an issue for now.
For
But in
now.
the future, we would have to have something documented.
Right, and I would suggest if ownership of one or the other changed before anything was finalized and an agreement was put together in case a situation like this occurred.
Right.
Excuse me.
So what is that main on Depot? 10-inch?
That is 8.
8?
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be any flow issues?
Shouldn't be, no. There's not a large volume being contributed to it. But it is significantly deep. And I forecast, I wish Gary was here, but he's better at the road stuff than I am. You're probably gonna have to shut the whole road down for X number of days. And it's gonna be quite a hole.
Right, yep.
That's really the only reason I would support this.
Yeah, really, if both the buildings are owned by the same person, so, and it's got enough capacity, there really isn't any issue other than what to do in the future.
Right.
Because if the building's split ownership, there would need to be something documented, and I would assume the deed,
What's that?
would it be documented in the deeds of the building?
It probably should be, yeah. The thing that I just am never comfortable with is setting precedents. That's something I think that you guys need to decide.
In the way the ordinance reads, it's separate structures, not,
Unless there's really no accommodating way of doing it, which there is, obviously.
there is no accommodating way?
Then they could tie into,
Oh, yeah.
like, anywhere along that existing sewer line. But because there's multiple ways you could do it, according to the ordinance, we shouldn't allow it.
May I have a can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If no variance is allowed, what would that mean? I mean, if you refused any variance, would that mean that the building could not be constructed and permitted?
No, you just have to tie into the main line. You
Okay,
still have access to our sewer system. It would just be a little more cumbersome.
okay. And how would that go down? As you face the building, would that be is what you're talking about going down the right-hand side of the building or the left-hand side of the building?
The original design was to go down the left side.
Right?
We then proposed at a field meeting 2 months ago or whatever, going around sort of where the storm got put in.
Right.
I think that would be readjusted to go back straight, kind of down along the left side of the Quincy and tying in sort of between the vets and the hotel.
Okay. Does that cause a bigger disruption where it connects with the street than it is to do it the other way?
That way versus the new design, or
Well, the design that I think Mr. Cameron proposed to you.
is much
What do you mean, Mr.
simpler for
Cameron?
sure.
Speaking of,
Jim,
Hi, everybody.
how are ya?
The new design is much simpler.
Good.
But by all means, you still, because we've afforded the allocations already, you certainly have access to our collection system, regardless of which route it ends up going.
and is it correct that what's been proposed is, I'm gonna let Jim take over because he knows this a lot better. But it is in compliance with the state rules, is that correct?
I'm not sure.
To the best of our knowledge, it is, yes.
You can always have, so even from the government side, EPA can have regulations, the state has to maintain at least that level. They can always have more strict, and that works for local municipalities as well. If it's a state reg, you can have tighter municipal regulations,
But it came to lose.
right.
More not less.
So the state allows two structures to be tied in on one line?
I believe that's what Pete found. Yes.
Had a previous project that it got permitted for the very similar reasons. And we don't have a state permit yet, but we believe we can get one.
Okay. So, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. Pardon me, I just got here, I thought it was about the right time, pardon me if I'm late. I'm not sure, Peter, are you here?
He just, as soon as you sat down, he signed off. I don't know if you lost connection or figured you had it, but he's gone.
That's civil engineer. We did something in good faith that we didn't have permission from the village for. It's really that simple. We had a meeting on the site, we thought, we had a conversation on the site about every number of utilities that were going on. And the premise was to not go in the street. Nobody wanted to go in the street. We didn't want to go in the street, you don't want us in the street. There was a joint decision about all of that. So we had a plan for the water that we discussed that day, we had a plan for stormwater that day. We needed to formalize the power, which we have formalized power, we're just coming off an existing pole. That's right adjacent to the vet clinic. And then a week or so later, Peter came up with this thought from another project. We were on site doing site work and we put it in thinking it was fine. There was no commission here, there was omission. And Brian brought that up the next day, we acknowledged that, we appreciate it. There's no disagreement about how that unfolded or where that came from. And
You put it in, meaning you put the design plan in, or you put the physical piping in?
physical piping is in.
So it's installed?
Yeah, there was a for us in the field doing that day with Scott, there was a logic to how we were executing everything and what went over the top of this and had to be insulated and what didn't. So there was a rationale for it.
Can I clear up with Mike? So what's in the ground now is not what's being proposed here. It's actually going from corner building to the back corner of the building. It's much shorter.
I apologize, I thought that was already on the tape, a knowledge base for everybody here.
I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, didn't know that, agreed, we agreed. We found a shorter, easier route that gave us the elevation to get in, that didn't cross the alleyway, that didn't cross the power lines, or what, yeah, the power lines, gas lines. Now the new water line has an isolation distance. This allows not to have to sleeve it, fire around, a bunch of other stuff. Good faith, mistake, and that's where we are. Truthfully, that's my summation for that.
Yep.
No disagreement about the ordinance or this or that.
But to clarify, I think I understand that what is being proposed by the gentleman from the village is that we abandon the work that's been done and do it a different way.
I definitely don't support the way it is now, because you're going through a building and you're also going through a grease trap, which are notorious for not being maintained. Constantly having problems.
Does it conflict with the grease trap?
That's what I need to have Peter on the line for to verify that. I just don't. That may be true, I just don't know it as a fact myself.
But to go through another structure, I wouldn't support at all. We're bypassing the Quincy Hotel entirely.
Yeah.
That,
Because that could get
I'm
messy.
coming to terms with, but I would not support the existing situation.
Who incurs the cost of digging up the roadway?
That'd be on the contractor's side. From our perspective, for mine, I guess, and anybody can add in, it's more of an inconvenience to that area of the community.
This is Peter hopping back on.
Time for a grease trap question.
Peter, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here now. I had to get on a different computer.
A question just came up and I'm gonna ask Brian to clarify if I'm incorrect. The line that we would intercept into the basement of the Quincy, is that also the main line going into the grease trap, or is that a separate line?
It's a separate line that ends up leading to that 6-inch sewer that Brian mentioned. So the grease trap is just taking the waste from the kitchen and depositing it in the 6-inch line in front of the building. So when we tie in, the tie-in in the basement that's currently there is into that same 6-inch line, not into the grease trap.
Okay, I had a question. Does the state allow tying two structures into one line? Is that common
Yes.
practice?
Yeah, I've gotten permits for that before. I don't see an issue there, and we would get the state permit before we went any further.
And that's allowed commercial, residential, all of the above? I mean, I can see residential.
Yeah, I haven't had any problem with the state granting those. We're gonna have cleanouts, outside the building, so the line will be accessible.
If I can just ask a question. On the line that's being proposed from the building to the second one, I mean, is it before the grease
So the one,
deposit, or is it after the grease deposit?
actually, Brian, you better take this.
I'm not sure I know. I think Peter answered the question. I assume they were both tied in, but I guess they're separate.
That's the,
I understand they're going to be both tied in, but this line being here, which is the grease one, if you go down, say 5 feet, and then tie in to the pipe that way, then you eliminate the issue of it going through the same line with the grease line being right here.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
It does not go through the.
That's not how this is.
I think, Peter, I think in both cases, the village's preferred versus what we did doesn't run into the grease trap or the grease line. It enters the
That's correct.
main 6-inch sewer line.
Yeah, that's correct. The grease trap system's completely separate from the line we're installing or the line that we have installed. It's completely separate.
I'm waking up now a little bit, and also that we installed that grease trap 4 or 5 years ago. We had permits for that. It was engineered, designed, and signed off on. It wasn't a slam dunk. It's actually is it a 1,000-gallon tank, Peter?
I believe it's 1,500 gallons. I have to look. It's at least 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000's the minimum, and I almost think we put a 1,500 in.
So technically, this is feasible, like physically, hooking all of this stuff up is, you don't see any issue with it?
Yeah, I trust Pete's engineering aspect of it. It's, again, more of a political issue, I guess.
Right, and I think we gotta talk about this a little more in depth as a board. Because the implications.
It is complex.
Yeah, it is, for sure, especially Jim brought up that there has been cases here from the state that they have accepted. And if they're using case-by-case basis to set precedents for other stuff, then if we put in one, two structure, one line, who's gonna be getting in the most mess out of this?
Guys
Us or?
adjourning on this and really making sure you make the right decision.
Yeah.
I can't sigh.
Pardon me?
I said I can't sigh. No. And one thing we could do now that we know, maybe we should look, maybe we can send Gary over to the town and look at the deeds for the Church Street scenario.
Yeah, so that would have been grandfathered in. There's a couple situations where multiple buildings are tied in, but
Yeah.
they were prior to there being a wastewater plant here.
For sure, yeah.
And
Well-
they're obviously grandfathered, but
And if it's relevant, this is a single tract and a single deed for one piece of property. It's not two pieces of property currently. And if it were to become two pieces of property, it would require some subdivision, at the plats level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that can all be done fairly, I wouldn't say fairly easily, but it can be done. And that's the only thing that I'm concerned about is in the future, 100 years from now, somebody could get in a big fight over this. Why would they do it that way, I don't know.
and I'm not sure, I can reach out to other municipalities. I'm not sure if this is sort of a unique clause in our ordinance or if it's more standard. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, if you would, I'd appreciate that. If you can reach out to other people just to see if this is like, oh, we do that all the time, or if it's, no, don't do that. 'Cause this is what's happened to us.
I'm assuming why it was put in, as I described, but I wasn't here when it was written.
Right. Jim?
Two comments. One is just to let you know that the line that's coming out of the new duplex that's running into the building is a 4-inch line. It's insulated. It's running at all the right stuff it needs to do. And then since any of this really, I guess it was last Thursday, I met with Vermont Gas, and they want to come up the driveway right to the duplex because they want to change the service to the veterinary clinic. It's not where it's supposed to be or how it's supposed to be, so they're going to be asking Betsy for an easement to run, when I say middle, up that driveway. Left, right, center, but Betsy owns to the eaves of the vet clinic. That driveway goes with the Quincy. So they're going to do that, and they'll go on top of whatever we do. They'll be shallower. So for us, and right now we're tentatively on the record for mid-July. So not just letting you know if you could know that.
Sooner rather than
we
later.
wouldn't duplicate other things. And I can push them off. This is not, well, we can push them off. It's not like the world's gonna end. We're not gonna get in there.
Okay.
But if that was a comfortable timeline, then we just say, hey, can we get done by the time one way or the other? And then we can do our work and push ahead, and that's our only other reason for going in the ground right now, with gas right now.
Okay.
Power will be over, as I said.
Okay. Is there any other questions? No. Okay, I think Brian will reach out, we'll review some other stuff, get back to you.
Thank you, and Brian, thank you for listening, I appreciate it. We didn't do things the way we should have done, and I take our responsibility for that.
I appreciate that.
All right?
Thank you.
Judy?
Good.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you all in an odd
I know.
And I do mean it in an odd way. No.
All right.
They're gonna tie it in with 6. What they've got running now is 4.
Bid estimates for 24 Main.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, guys.
I'll be back to assist it in someday, I mean,
Happy to have you anytime.
I'll bring coffee.
Well, we'll see you soon.
Well, I don't make John happy. He never stops drinking.
I'll pass those around. Those are the 2 bid estimates. We had David Shea, I can't remember the name of the company. And one is Scott.
I guess there's only 2.
Yeah, there's only 2 we got back today.
Oh.
Significant price difference.
I guess so.
I mean, I guess in theory it's not our pocketbook, but,
That went out to bed, right?
to bid, yeah.
To bid.
They had a week. We had a opening bid last on the 20th, and they were due today.
Only the 2.
Yeah. Ron said he was going to, but I never saw him.
Is that right?
Holy moly.
And
No,
that's
there
for-
is a slight
for
difference.
Just the one house?
Just 24.
That's this one?
Yes.
Mm.
The white one.
I don't even need to read the rest of it.
I asked, so if you see on the one from David Shea, it says, they have some kind of spreadsheet they put together. They don't provide that spreadsheet. I asked that question.
Well, that's helpful.
So they make a spreadsheet, but they don't share it.
Exactly. With a price
So they got
breakdown.
like a cost breakdown?
Yeah.
Well, we would, but it's another 124,000.
Yes.
Again, I so when we kind of looked at it, we did a walkthrough. I'm still waiting for the letter. I've reached out a couple times from the A&R. They're saying that they can use the foundation to backfill a hole, if there is one. We're not sure if there's gonna be a huge hole because that's actually a slab.
Oh, okay.
Is there
I was
gonna be-
wondering that the other day.
There's nothing, yeah.
So it'd be more of a retaining wall for them than anything.
Exactly. So if there's any bit of a hole, they would backfill and the rest is going out. So,
And that, everything is included, the landscaping and everything in both those bids?
yeah, that's down, it's supposed to look like kind of like a lawn after.
Right. Backfill, topsoil, seed.
You could, yeah, it should be right in there. It should tell you like a few steps that they have
Have that back, can you? Heather's done with it.
to. I'm sorry, I should have made more copies.
These are popular, man. Who's open again? Unless it's people leaving. Who's also coming
Yeah,
in?
could be Brenda Stanley's on the agenda.
I don't see any shadow.
All right. So, we think we're gonna take this little bit here?
That's my,
You don't see too much point in taking the other one.
No, not the 100,000.
Brenda?
Well,
almost.
yeah, substantial difference. All right. I will hear a motion to accept Video Excavations bid.
Can you, not to interrupt you, but just add that in there to waive the procurement policy because we only received 2.
Okay. We'll waive the, motion to waive the procurement policy. We only got 2 bidders. And motion to accept Good Use Excavation for $39,008 for the demolition of 24 Main Street.
Is this one or two things?
Can it be done with a one?
One motion, yeah.
Okay, I'll move.
Eli had the first, Heather with the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. When do they have that scheduled for, by the way? Or when could they have it done for?
Tomorrow.
We're supposed to have it done by
Yesterday.
the end of June. It's in here that we're supposed to have it done by June 29th or 25th, I can't remember. However, that's not gonna help Scott's plan, but I know when I talked to David, he was just worried about, because there is that small section we have to get abated, and get an abatement firm in here was what he was up against. So she already gave me a variance to August, if that ends up being the case,
Okay.
825.
But we'll be all set with them, the state, whatever.
Yeah, they're already aware of that might
Okay,
be
yep,
permanent.
alright, good enough. Scott's always been good, so trust him. Alright, there's no further questions on that. We will move on to the Elm Street bond anticipation note.
With the construction starting soon, we do need to secure upfront financing for the 1.6 that was voted upon. I reached out to the Vermont Bond Bank, who originally told me that we could do a band with them and now is telling me that we can't do one with them. And I reached out to People's Trust and they are on board willing to set one up for us. It'd be a 12-month term, a fixed rate of 2.5%. So again, just a reminder, the sewer portion of this project is 100% funded with CSO ARPA money. The water portion is through the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, which we qualify for minimally a 50% subsidy. So we'd only be on hook for 50% of the water. So we're looking all in all in the end to finance probably 700, 800-ish thousand. And that's already set up, the loan's already set up for that. It's a 40-year note at 0% interest.
That would be the maximum amount, 700 something.
Correct, it's 50% subsidy is the lowest subsidy amount. It could be a little bit more when the project is all said and done. But this would be to do a bond anticipation note for the 1.6 that was voted upon to upfront cover the cost, and then I'll be submitting monthly reimbursements to each fund. And then once we receive the reimbursement, I will pay it to the bond anticipation note to pay that off. I would ask again on this one to waive the policy. Did not reach out to Community National because they have not been getting back to me for anything, and I didn't hear back from Community.
So this is gonna be like a line of credit or just a?
Essentially, yes. They call it a ban, a bond anticipation note, but it's essentially a line of credit.
So we'd only pay an interest on what we draw on it.
Correct.
And then you're getting reimbursed at the end of the month anyway, so. Yeah.
Correct. I did submit our first ARPA reimbursement. I want to say we're pushing a month, so I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a 6 to 8 week turnaround on that. But I'm kind of gauging the first one because the Church Street is funded through the same CSO ARPA money. So we'll hopefully, once I get that, I'll have a better idea. But I think a 12-month term because the project should be done this fall, and that gives me through the winter, kind of that little cushion through the winter to make sure we get all of our reimbursements.
Do they need an actual letter or just a motion?
Just a motion, it just needs to be in the minutes.
Okay. I'll hear a motion, motion to waive the procurement policy and to let People's Trust know that we are anticipating a bond note.
I move that we waive the procurement process.
What you said.
And, yeah, what you said, and go with People's Trust and their kind generosity.
Second.
Alright, Sandy at first, Eli with the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we have an EFEDC request.
Short and sweet. I'm looking on the village website if the board would support me adding an EFEDC tab once the revolving loan policy policy goes live, which should hopefully be in the next week or two. We do have a meeting Thursday, but I'm just looking to make sure you guys are on board. If I put kind of at the top an EFEDC tab, that'll have a link to all of our documents and kind of information for village businesses or town businesses to submit for funding. It's just kind of a centralized location.
Good idea.
Also, we have 3 board seats that are open right now. So
Yeah, we have 3.
Sandy's potentially found a couple people
Potentially,
for
maybe
me.
found 2.
But we have a village seat that would need to be nominated by the board, so if you guys know or can think of anybody, send them my way. A town seat, so. we'll
Excited for
coming-
2 things tonight, Pierre?
I'll be coming to your board at some point too. And then the last seat would be an EFEDC board nomination, which needs to be a Franklin County resident with interest in Enosburg. So if you know of anybody, please let me know, but we have $40,000 to help commute.
But we need the means to use it.
Yes, unfortunately, the board's kind of stalled out a little bit.
I think you could say that.
Is that a good way to put it, Sandy?
It'll work.
So I'm hoping with maybe some new
I'm
board
coming with
members.
matches on Thursday.
Yeah, we definitely need to figure out if we're going to continue to move forward or what the game plan is going to be at this point in time. But I'm hoping we move forward because it will benefit the community. But no, I thank you for that. That'll just need a central location to kind of put all of our documents up that we can
Yep.
direct everyone to.
Do they still own the industrial park?
No,
No.
Barnard and Jarvis purchased that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard if they have any plans with anything yet. I've been
I haven't.
nosing around, but
I haven't
nobody's
heard
heard
anything
anything.
I haven't heard of Richard Green's.
Oh, yeah.
I heard Franklin Foods is interested in DFA, but I haven't heard any more.
In tank wash?
Yeah.
All the equipment's
Richard selling?
gone. All the equipment's out of it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Gone.
I say it looked pretty empty in Ghost Town when I drove by the other day.
Hopefully something exciting. All right, any other questions on that? No? Okay, moving on to skipping 11, I did that. With Brenda.
Hey, Brenda.
Do you want to see this? I didn't show it to you ahead of time. This is the kind of
Last page
basic
here.
information.
Yeah. What we're doing at the moment.
I'll let you take the lead
I
with
don't know
it.
if he's got a copy of that.
No, that's not me anymore.
Which one?
You stayed for nothing.
Yeah.
So, I had this idea of, a wind phone. And, they aren't anything new, but it would be new to our area, and I would like it in the village, so I approached Abby with an email about it, and she looked up to see what it was, to understand what I'm talking about. And then I came down and met with her. And we both would love to put in a wind phone. And what, if you haven't, what a wind phone is, and it's even been proven, it's a great tool for mental health for people who are grieving. Because what you do is, I always think of, you put up a rotary phone like we all had when we were younger. It's not connected to anything, and you can put it in any type of a structure. It can be a big birdhouse with a door on it, it could be an actual phone booth, build something. And it allows people who are grieving to pick up the phone and call their loved ones. And for people who can't go to a cemetery, like a child whose parents can't go, or somebody who is too emotionally upset to go, this is another way for them to still keep that connection and help them through the grief. And as we know, mental health is a big issue, and I would like to help our community, and Abby would also. And we'd like to put in a wind phone, and we were thinking somewhere's down here.
I talked to Ken. My initial thought was over by Diesel Park. There's that front lawn on the west Enosburg roadside. And my concern with the bridge is the mist and the damage that could come with that. I did talk to Ken, and he always goes along. He's on board with that kind of area if the board approves it. I don't think we're looking at a huge cost. I mean, we were gonna try to get maybe some time and material donated to build it if the board gives us the okay, just a bench and like Brenda said, a basic phone, and there would be like a type of plaque in there that explains what it is and what the purpose of it is. And I have a couple of ideas of kind of corners over there where it's tucked in the corner a little bit so you have the privacy and out of the way so it's not a huge obstacle for Ken, but he was fine because they just mow over there and God bless him.
Right out in the open in the middle of the lawn.
No, I was thinking kind of tucked back towards the tree line, towards the river a little bit, just so it's not right out there. So A, we're not drawing a ton of attention for any issues, but and to give people kind of the privacy to be tucked in the corner a little bit more. And he was on board with wherever over there if the board supports it.
I think we both kind of thought with being near the falls and stuff, one, it represents what the falls is, Innisbrook is, but also a little more peaceful when somebody's expressing their grief. You know, they have that nice area to be in. And as I told Abby, my new goal for the library is to try to find some community project every year, whether it's with you or another, that we can, for the community in the village. That way we serve that better. And that's what I want to do with the library. And this was this year's goal.
What do you think?
I think it sounds pretty neat. If we could find somebody to, maybe we can even find a community member who might be able to put it together for us,
That's
build it.
kind of the goal is
Maybe
we're,
like-
next step if it's approved is to brainstorm.
Henry is its neighbor.
Who can we, who can we go bother nicely?
He just lives up the road there a little bit, and he's got a big trailer.
I know connection with material.
You gotta come to our meetings later.
Donation from the
Sticks approaching my town, approaching my village.
Also, we've got a light department member with a portable sawmill that I'm sure I could sweet talk into helping us out too with some material if need be.
Really?
Yes.
So,
We've already got one project out of him here, so I'm sure I can get another one.
I feel like there's somebody on the board with a sawmill.
Maybe they're handy to have.
Just a follow-up question, so the structure would then be owned by the village? Is that, or is it the libraries, or who, what's that part?
We haven't really gotten that far yet. I think there would be minimal maintenance on it. And
Yeah, it needs to be almost maintenance free if possible.
yeah, it would, I mean, I'm sure over 20 years you may need to look at something at that point in time, but the plan would be to build it sturdy enough so there's minimal to no maintenance and then,
sort of like a free little library.
yeah.
No, I definitely.
I love the little white one with the
Yeah.
windows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's some pretty extravagant.
Some, yeah, if you go to
ones.
the website, some of them, like, this started, I think, I don't know if it started, but it's big over in Japan and ventured this way. I think it said there's 170 sites across the United States. So it's, some of them are very, very intricate.
And there's at least 3 in Vermont already. And one was featured on WCAX a few weeks ago, a library that used their first rounds of ARPA money. And they actually had a big wooden structure built where people go and sit and they have doors and windows and, yeah, we weren't looking to go that extravagant.
No, we don't want it to be so fancy that it intimidates the users either.
Right,
And we don't want it to draw the vandalism.
right.
What about an old telephone booth?
But
Hey,
then-
do you
but then
have
some
one
people
kicking
might think
around?
It's a telephone. I
Right?
mean, it is, but.
Do you have one on hand?
Well, you could make money, people put money in it.
I mean, I would love an old telephone booth, but I don't know of anybody who has one.
They gotta be somewheres.
Check with like
You got
Hodgson
one?
Brothers or,
I don't have one,
You
no.
don't have one.
No, fresh out.
Great American Salvage.
there's still one up in Franklin, I think.
I feel
Someone
like
can
there's
do that.
one, yeah, in the corner, right?
the
Before
phone
you turn
company.
it.
There's one in
Yeah.
St. Johnsbury, I know that.
I feel like
I remember the one up by, well, what is it now, O'Reilly's?
O'Reilly's, yeah.
Yeah, that was always there.
Yep.
we saw one in Maine and my kids did the classic, what's that? And had some old guy walking by laughing hysterically. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, do we need a motion? I don't know.
We can come back with our plan, obviously, before anything happens and give
It
an
sounds like a
update
fine
or
idea.
Yeah.
if you'd like, but we'll keep you in the
The
loop.
initial
but-
go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get to green light.
Thank you.
We give the go-ahead to go ahead?
Yeah, there you go. Before we invested a lot of our time.
Right, right.
Okay,
Super.
we'll get in touch with each other.
Sounds like a plan.
Have your people, call your people.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you as always, Brenda. You're welcome to stay, you know.
No, don't.
We have our monthly financial report, you can stay for that, that's good stuff.
It's super exciting, I promise.
Alright, Abby, what do we got?
You always put me back to back on stuff, and they're
Yeah.
sick of me by the time we get to like the last thing I have to do.
You're on the roll.
Would you hurry up with this?
10-cent version, every department is looking fine. I have no concerns, cash flow is going good for everybody. Obviously, general fund's running a deficit until tax season, so don't let that scare you, that'll change very drastically, but cash flow wise, general fund is trucking right along, no major issues. As in,
Like, be in the black until right around like the week of tax season.
I will say, every year we're getting a little bit better.
That's good.
We're going longer before we need to do like a tax anticipation note or anything of that essence.
But
So,
how much, like, not to put you on the spot, but how much is that interest, how much interest are we paying? I mean, we must have some sort of
interest as far as any loans.
yeah,
So any loans that we're paying on right now, like the 9,200 that you see on page 3 of that report for long-term highway, that's for
oh, yeah, right.
your trucks.
Yep, so it'd just be short-term general?
It would be short-term, which right now we're not paying any. We have not needed to do any borrowing.
Well, I guess we don't need to change it then.
Like I said, we get to,
We be, okay.
when I first started, we would have borrowed by now. Last year, we made it into June. I think we'll probably make it to July, if not a little bit longer. So we're getting closer and closer every year. Water fund is doing fine. Again, nothing major. We did purchase some flat file cabinets that kind of bumped our office, just the timing of our office expenses up. This is to hold, I mean, Gary has a closet full of, they just hang there of old, like plans, blueprints, so this will keep them safe, cause I know wastewater's had issues with water damage on some old ones, so they kind of spearheaded it, and then I got all departments on board, so everybody's kind of feeling that. Other than basic expenses, we haven't had anything crazy jump out. We do have coming up, just for the light department, just a heads up, our rake out here in front of the trash racks. The annual inspections were removed by previous administration and not done. So we just did the first inspection on it in almost 10 years.
On the trash racks?
No, on the rake itself.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And there's a significant amount of repair, so they're scheduled for the end of August. It's gonna be close to $15,000.
That's that big dinosaur looking thing?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, unsightly one.
That's coming. We're still looking at trash rack repairs, and as far as under the village, there's some leaks under the building. I gotta follow up with Fairbanks again. The engineer they're bringing in is out of Texas, so they're trying to schedule all of that. The plan right now is to flip the trash racks and do any repairs. We do have spare cars, so we'll be able to do some replacements if need be. I think that's all we really have going on down there right now, other than the FERC licensing.
Yeah.
Set for Thursday, if anybody wants to come down between like 1 and 2. The 5th grade kids are coming to help plant all the flowers on the bridge. So if you're bored, Gary and I finished mulching the perennial garden that we put in last year. So that looks a little happier and everything's blooming and it looks really pretty. So you should definitely check it out.
I saw her going out this morning, mulching and stuff. Everything's good.
The guys have been mulching in the village, and yeah, it looks really, really good. But as far as finances go, every department is doing really well. We're very fortunate. Our guys really keep track of their spending and make my life easier, except for one, but he's a work in progress.
They do a great job because of Abby's support.
Yes.
And he means Abby being a bossy person. I did in the last couple pages, just kind of an FYI, it breaks out our electric department sales and then our purchase power at the bottom. It's kind of small print, sorry.
Kind of?
And a happy note, our purchase power is down every
What a bit.
month. It's very significant, so we're,
Or is that 2.1 the total from 2023, and so far we're at
yes.
845?
But if you look, the difference down below, like January,
Oh,
we
yeah.
were 5,700 less. So every month we are so far trending behind. So that's a plus, and that's a huge, huge savings.
200,000 down in
Correct.
October.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
We asked, Vep said one of the things that our transmission's down, so we're trying to pinpoint that. We've been doing some things here, so we're trying to get those, to see if they correlate or not. So we have that question out of the Vep, but our transmission's been down like 20%, so.
Which
I mean,
is-
These numbers are huge.
Which, you're also, the only ones to look at, Sam, are the first ones in blue. If there's nothing in blue, it hasn't
Oh.
happened yet.
That's why they're huge.
Yep,
I'm like,
because of last year, just the fourth. But we are down 2040.
22 of last month.
Yeah,
20,000.
so we're down close to $60,000 compared to last year.
That's good.
So that's a huge positive. The last page is just kind of an FYI on our hydro production. 2022, 2023, and where we're at 2024. April by far has been our best month, well, as you can tell, in about 3 years. Probably longer than that.
Well, just comparing 2022 to 2024.
Correct.
Amazing what happens when you
2023
both
had a
are.
45%, 45.7 increase of production over 2022. Honestly, that's all gonna be attributed to how we are operating. I think John and I harassed the guys enough that they're finally seeing the big picture, and like John said, we're just trying to tweak when and how we operate to figure out the transmission peaks and with our FERC licensing, so it's, but the guys are really grasping it, and I don't take 105, I come down East Sheldon and Duffy Hill so I can see how much water's going over the dam, and then I yell at them if there's a lot of water going over the dam and my hydros
So
aren't
that's
turned
why
up.
April is such what is our license good for? Was it 5.4?
The license, we can produce up to 975 kilowatt hours, so we're just under a meg is what we can produce at any given time.
What do you?
This, so it's not daily, monthly, yearly?
No,
It's just at that moment in time?
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
Which right now the Kendall has been running maxed out at it's about 300 kilowatt hours. The Village, when I was down there earlier today, we were anywhere between 600 to 610 because they cranked it up to 89%.
So combined, we're right about
So
where.
after our meeting, they went and turned it up more.
Well, yesterday, I mean, as we all knew, Sunday got pretty dry, and then
Yeah.
we got that rain yesterday, so
The river jumped quite a bit,
we got it right back
So.
up there, yeah.
Awesome.
yeah. And that, it helps a lot because that's all behind the meter production, so that's less that we have to go out to purchase off the market or our contract,
For
so
sure,
it
goes
saves
right in our pocket.
significantly.
Paying somebody else.
Hey, look, I'm done talking.
Well, thank you, that's all.
You've done a great job again, and thank you so much.
Okay, we have a July 5th request.
So, somebody asked me, so I told them I'd ask the question. So July 5th is a Friday, and we're just looking to see, it's the day after, we obviously have July 4th off.
No.
We're looking for a one-time request to have that Friday off, make it a long weekend.
Paid or unpaid?
Paid. Or unpaid? We can make it unpaid, I guess.
I think,
Oh, you
I think in
can.
the past we've done it where you can take a day,
It's
but
that
you have to
floating
take out your
personal.
vacation or something.
There's a,
There is one extra day, so we could, I guess, technically shut down on that day and then.
But I thought it was
They-
fixed.
that we used, no, because
Right,
we
you have to
added
use
that.
that day.
Oh.
I think that'd be fine, I mean, you could do it that way if you want.
We added Friday to the holiday list, but that used to be the day, so now everybody has that
Oh, right.
floating personal day.
Yeah.
So
So
how,
we could use that floating personal day, and then,
but how are we gonna do that? Are we gonna have it where everyone needs to use it, or else everyone has to work? Cause you can have one guy being, I'm coming in.
right, no one doesn't want to use it, correct.
Right.
And he doesn't want to take an unpaid day, but you can't really have one guy come into work.
Right.
Yeah, not really.
I think what it had been in the past is before we added that Friday to the Thanksgiving thing was, take the day as long as everyone can agree to take a personal day, vacation day, whatever.
A personal day.
So we'll do it, but as long as everybody's, it's okay with us shutting down, as long as everybody's okay with using that floating or whatever day
That
they want
personal
to use.
day.
that
Yeah,
personal
as
day.
long as everyone's on board.
Yeah,
Okay,
as long as you have a consensus.
all right, that's fair.
All right, there's no other business on here, so I guess we'll add one agenda item, other business. Anybody got any,
I had a couple things, if nobody has any.
what you got?
First of all, Mr. Berkson dropped this off. If anybody wants to look at this, we're gonna, Psyche's making a frame for it. It's a 1908 postcard, which I thought was kind of cool.
But it's all down here with all the mills and stuff. It's pretty
No
cool.
way.
He donated that to our village.
Psyche and I got a kick out of that all you had to write was the name in Montgomery Center, Vermont. Somehow I made it back there in 1908.
It used to be legal to mail children as well.
And neither of the above were ever late.
Some days it still should be. I've got a
Today, you
7-year-old.
can't send somebody that size and have it go in 3 weeks.
Line striping, as you can see, they're coming back Monday or Tuesday after this weekend, so the second, third. They'll be back to finish line striping. They got all Main Streets done and so forth.
We get around the park?
They got around the park. They have like the corner by the Catholic Church needs to get done. There's one other.
Did they do the corner, did they do the little striping by Bates?
So they
I haven't
did
been
one
down through there.
line, but I told Gary they're gonna build like straight lines.
Yeah, it needs to be an in-your-face thing or
Yeah.
it's not gonna work.
So no, they're gonna finish that. They have to do the accessibility parking spot in front of the library, and they have to finish some other spots with the actual crosswalk. Gary says because it wears out so quick, but I told, they've never done it, I guess, in the past few years, but we're gonna do the one right here by
We used to have
Turtle
one.
Street.
Yeah,
They haven't done it for a couple of years, but I explained I know it wears out quick, but let's get it done, so,
Probably has to.
yeah,
Yeah.
so.
of course, just that, the corner of Pearl and Main, just the truck traffic alone, as the big trucks kind of come skidding around the corner trying to make it. No wonder it doesn't last.
He's there for ski date.
Night.
We-
If you, oh, you're trying to read it?
I'm trying to figure out what it says.
Yeah, good luck with
It's in the
that.
original envelope.
Something
too.
is, I think it says is in for ski date.
They were always very personal.
And it looks like it says He Church Larry. But I can't.
That was what they named
something.
back then.
I
It says
think
it's
that's
like
all I
on is
had
in for ski
for,
date. That's kind of what it looks like.
yeah, like for that, our power guys, they did a great job. Well, a week ago, we had that quick storm came through. Everybody saw the 4 poles down on West Enosburg Road.
Must be like a microburst or something.
Yeah, it blew a bunch down. Took a big tree down on Marcel's lawn. And they had that up and running by 4 o'clock that morning. And then they were out yesterday for more blowdowns and so forth, so.
I got a comment on how fast they were, how quick they had power restored.
Yeah, I got 2 comments in that same direction. We couldn't believe, it went out and we were like, "Ugh," and we couldn't believe how quickly they got things done and we were
Yeah.
back and okay.
Very good crew.
It's-
Yeah.
We do an excellent crew. We're very,
They were
very
out
fortunate.
till 4 and then got called back in at 7 a.m. and they all rolled back in by 8 and worked another full day cleaning up a lot of secondary services and a couple outages that didn't get reported the night before, so.
I've got 2 things. One, I don't know if you all got the email or if it went to you or not, but Emily from NRPC emailed me today. There's a Safe Routes for Communities training Thursday evening. If anybody's interested, I can forward you the if you don't already have it. It's kind of connected to Safe Routes to School, which is what Enosburg Elementary is part of the Safe Routes to Schools. So it's just kind of talking about how we can make our communities a little more walkable for everybody.
I think I'm supposed to speak on that.
You're attending it as a speaker?
I think so. She asked
You
me
should
to.
double check your calendar then.
Oh, it's on my calendar.
Okay.
I'm saying, I think.
Cool, well, that's good.
I think it's the same event you're talking about.
Good,
It is,
nice. Yeah. I know with like the Safe Routes to School, Enosburg is often lauded for what we do, so, it's also, and what was my second one? Oh, I got an email this afternoon from Franklin County Caring Communities, and they would like to earmark $1,000 towards the youth center.
Bless
So,
them.
Congratulations.
and Abby will connect about, I don't know, if we'll have her hold it until the 501c3 is done or not. So try to figure that out.
Either way, that's fine.
You have a timeline on that?
Working on it.
Still waiting for the lawyer?
We've given, he has more information, so it's moving, it's just moving slowly. We have an official name for the 501c3.
Oh.
CEY, Community Empowering Youth.
Nice. Oh, wait a minute, this is the time, I've been writing stuff down. Good business. I brought that up. Good job. Okay, a member of the law enforcement community said that we need to adjust our village camera. It points in the wrong direction and he can't see anything.
Which camera?
We
There's
have
several.
One?
The one that's not adjusted right, I don't know. Just,
You know,
I adjusted the village camera, I can't see anything.
I think I know the problem. I think he has, the one that now looks at the EV, I swapped them. So the one that looks at the EV charger, I think is the one I gave him, not the one that looks down Main Street, so
Not sure.
I'll have to give him.
I told him, I said I'd bring it up, stop you. A while ago, we had discussed a parking lot time limit by the Pearly Block liquor store, that area. Where are we at with that? 'Cause I didn't see any
Signs are in, we gotta go, they got.
The sign
it's on the
just
to-do
came
list.
in.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got their whole order of everything that they needed to order.
Like
Okay.
last week,
Yeah, I think.
within 2 weeks
ago.
ago,
Speed
they got
bumps,
everything.
Yep, speed bumps? Oh, yeah.
They're in.
Question mark?
Dwight made me test them out in the highway. I
Oh,
was
and
sitting
we
there.
didn't talk about the woodchuck either.
Oh god.
Yeah. I offered to have that taken care of in a couple of minutes' time.
Oh,
And I laughed. I said to, I
sorry.
met Kenny in the park, and I said, Kenny, would you like to have it dispatched before something happens and, somebody gets hurt? He goes, well, I think dispatch has already been called. So I'm standing there and I went, no, Kenny, would you like it dispatched? Oh, I don't know.
What was it?
Where's their wood
There was.
There's
Yeah.
a woodchuck
Over
right
in the
next
tree
to
by
the
the
maple
post
right
office.
across from the post office. It must have got hit.
Either got hit or was ill.
Well, we picked it up finally. I went over
Did
and
it
shoveled.
die for us or?
It passed.
Oh,
yes.
good.
I had
It
one up
has
at-
passed.
My
So the
store
back-
last year that passed as well.
I think the back end got, it got hit by a car or somebody.
They never come to the city. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
I had one at the store last year.
Did you?
At my house.
Well, yeah, but you're not in the
I
city.
got a big field that separates.
That's right.
In a ditch.
I get raccoons, but haven't seen it. What
I get all the above.
my God, my
Skunks.
husband will just be
You
in
had
seven heaven.
mentioned something about the charger by the park, looking a little sketch ball.
Yeah, so like the electrical setup for the park, the circuit breaker panels and all that,
I've been yelling about.
is pretty sketchy. Like it wouldn't
Yeah.
take much for somebody to get into that and hurt themselves.
You mean the board? Next
The
to-
gray board that's on the pole?
It's on the pole.
Yeah.
And there's like wires dangling.
Yeah, we
It's
gotta-
just-
I don't know the relationship there. I guess the Lions own that. Or do you want to speak for the Lions on their behalf, or do you want us to go do some cleanup there, or
Probably just take a look at it and see what we can do.
okay?
Like even some padlocks on the breaker panels might be a good idea.
Just-
Something keep people out of them.
We should have taken a picture of it.
I have pictures.
Oh,
Yeah, I
alright,
think
so
I
show
do.
John what it looks like.
I have.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
we looked at it. Again, it's one of those. I mean, we'll just solve the problem and go clean it up or something. But it's like Lions put it in, then we manage it or whatever, which is fine. We can go clean it up and do some work to it.
Yeah, if you could maybe
Or what would you like to have done with it, now that you've seen, so if you've seen the pictures, what would you,
I guess the biggest complaint, I guess, is just some of the doors that broke off and then securing them to
Pretty
the,
much.
to the outlets.
So, yeah, because there's one outlet cover that's broken off. And then
there's like
the
220
wires,
lines
and then
dangling there
there's,
that you can.
and there's exposed
on.
wires with that, yeah.
There's like an old
Barbecue
router
in the
hanging
park?
there too or something.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
whose
don't
that
think
is.
that works.
You
I
need
mean, you
these or
probably,
you
It
could?
hasn't been plugged in. I assume it wasn't plugged in when I was there.
yeah.
I'm thinking at this point, just send Dave over just to make sure that it's safe, because if somebody gets hurt, and now that we all know about it, have to take care of that as soon as possible. I don't really care who owns it.
Glad you said something because I
No,
forgot
as long as
about
everybody's
Some,
safe.
some kid at Dairy Days is gonna stick
Yeah.
his hand in there or something.
We don't need an extra barbecue.
No, just make sure it's good.
I can't remember. So the outlets are on the bandstand. I mentioned that last time. I can't remember if that would happen after or before our last meeting. So we now have 2 outlets on the bandstand
Nice.
Right.
that are off of 2 different breakers.
And they don't have to use the basement one.
So I don't have to go, nobody has to go in the basement
That was
anymore.
last meeting we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, thought so. Thought we went over that.
That's all that I had. Anybody else? Hearing no other business, I will entertain a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters. Is there another executive?
There's one other thing.
There is one other thing, okay.
2, I guess.
And
Both
premature,
personnel.
just personnel?
2 personnel, yeah.
Okay. Personnel matters.
Move.
Second.
Either first, Heather the second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carries.